Hello everyone, first news update for 11th of May. Now it's 10 past 1, middle of the day by Moscow time, and I have prepared quite a number of news on some major developments, and I really hope you will find this video informative and interesting, and if so, please click that like button and leave some commentary just about anything. It might help to deal with the algorithm, especially on YouTube, because YouTube's algorithm hates my videos, by the way, for whatever reasons. And it will be even better, a greater help if you can switch from YouTube, if you are watching this video there, if you can switch from YouTube to my Rumble channel for next 30 minutes also, and we'll watch this episode there on Rumble, which is much more loyal, by the way, as a platform to creators and community than YouTube ever will be. I know Rumble is not that convenient, maybe as YouTube is, but that's the only alternative, at least for now, that we have on a global scale, right? And I'm trying to develop my channel on Rumble as much as I can. Okay, that's been said, dear friends. Before I start our news segment, let me remind you that this evening at 6 o'clock, in about 5 hours time, I will start a live stream community chat, and I hope many members of our community will join this community chat, and we will continue discussing all the major topics that are relevant today. But now news first, and as you know, dear friends, yesterday globalists and their puppet regimes all over the Europe, their representatives and the Kyiv regime issued a sort of ultimatum towards Russia. I spoke about it in yesterday's second update, and they basically demanded from Russian side kind of capitulation. That's how it sounded. Russia should stop military operations, and Russia should do this and do that. 30-day ceasefire, so-called, and that kind of nonsense. And well, many people were waiting for Russian response on that, and late evening yesterday, news broke that Russian president would address number of serious issues. He will have a statement, and journalists gathered in Kremlin. That was, I guess. Anyways, late evening, or I should say, early this morning at about 2 o'clock, by the way. President met with the journalists. He summarized recent events that were commemorated to great victory in a great patriotic war. He thanked all the heads of states that visited Russia to celebrate with us, with the Russian people, this great victory. He thanked heads of delegations from dozens of countries, heads of international organizations. And he mentioned that during these talks with their foreign partners and allies, friends, Ukrainian crisis was also discussed. And on the topic of Ukrainian crisis, Russian president went to say that Moscow is offering direct talks without any preconditions. And this is really a great chess move, by the way. In many ways, we can call it a 4D chess or whatever, but this is a great move, and I will explain why. But first, this news that the Russian President Vladimir Putin has offered the Kyiv opportunity to restart direct negotiations in Istanbul, Turkey, which Ukraine unilaterally walked away from in 2022, despite Ukraine's failure. And this offer from Russia stands despite Ukraine's failure to honor Victory Day truce. Also, and despite the attempts of Kyiv regime to intimidate world leaders who were gathering in Moscow for the celebration, addressing the media early Sunday morning, as I said, it was 2 o'clock, by the way, at night, or early morning. So addressing the media early Sunday morning, following a day of meetings with the foreign heads of states, Putin reiterated that Russia's offer to resume the negotiations that Kyiv abandoned shortly after the escalation of the current conflict. And we all remember, dear friends, in March-April 2022, there was a talks between Russian and Ukrainian delegations. Initially in Belarus, then these negotiations moved to Istanbul, Turkey, and even preliminary agreements were reached between the sides. And there was a hope that we will see de-escalation, but unfortunately then globalists get involved. Globalists send their puppets into Kyiv, among them at the time so-called Prime Minister of UK, Boris Johnson, and eventually these talks between Moscow and Kyiv was derailed. And since then, we all know what happened on the line of contact. Hundreds of thousands of people died, huge levels of destruction, and the Kyiv regime is losing and losing and losing. Right, nothing good come out of this decision of Zelensky and his criminal associates to walk away from the talks. They lost, according to Colonel McGregor, Douglas McGregor, a U.S. military expert. Kyiv regime lost over 1 million soldiers. By the way, KIA. It's a massive, isn't it? And this could be avoided if Kyiv regime did not walk away from those talks in 2022. But anyways, we are now in 2025. What has happened, and it is necessary to find ways to de-escalate, at least now, and Russia is offering the ways to de-escalate. And we have a quote here from Russian president's statement. We propose that Kyiv authorities resume the negotiations they interrupted in 2022 to resume direct negotiations, and I emphasize without any preconditions. We propose to start without delay next Thursday, May 15 in Istanbul, Putin stated. Our proposal is, so to speak, on the table. The decision now lies with the Ukrainian authorities and their curators and their Western masters, by the way, or we can call it globalists, globalist puppet regimes all over Europe, UK, France, Germany, I mean, you name it. With the exception of few countries in Europe, the rest of it is controlled by globalists, right? And their puppets, or through their puppets. Anyways, this is a big decision, of course, and as I said, this is a great move on part of Russian president in this 4D chess, because while making this offer, Russian president, maybe intentionally, maybe not so, but clearly creates Offramp for US administration to pull out the country from this mess that was created basically by globalists and globalist regimes all over the, in the collective West, including US at the time. And US under administration of Biden was actually leading, and also Obama, by the way, in 2014, were leading this charge against Russia. We all remember that perfectly well. It was Obama, isn't it, in office when a US orchestrated coup d'etat in Kyiv. And after that, civil war started in Ukraine, and eventually Russia had to intervene to secure people of Crimea. And in 2022, Russia just had no option but to get engaged with a special military operation to basically save the people of eastern Ukraine, eastern and southern Ukraine. And now seems like U.S. leadership, at least formally, I mean, based on their statements, really want to pull out U.S. from this proxy war against Russia, and they have an opportunity now to do so. They've been given an off-ramp, right? Because Zelensky, it was clear from the beginning, after Russian president made this statement, that globalists will refuse this offer. Right? Globalists would refuse this offer, and that's exactly what happened. Zelensky, for example, responded to Russian proposal with the ultimatum. Can you imagine that? Level of the generation of these elements that are puppets of the globalists is just unheard of. They still think that they can talk to Russia with their ultimatums. Okay, let's see what will come out of it. But anyways, Vladimir Zelensky responded to Russian President Vladimir Putin's proposal to begin direct talks with an ultimatum on a ceasefire. And we have a quote from Zelensky: "We expect Russia to confirm a ceasefire, completely longer term and reliable, starting tomorrow, May 12th, and Ukraine is ready to meet after that." So what they want, and by the way, same statement was made by Macron. He actually criticized the Russian offer. And Macron, Starmer, Merz of Germany, they all are pushing this ultimatum that they issued yesterday about the 30-day ceasefire, because they are desperate, by the way, to give some break to Kyiv regime and Kyiv regime's forces that are on the edge of collapse, right? Russian forces are advancing all along the front line, by the way, and it is obvious that it's only a matter of time, and eventually we will see domino effect in terms of collapse of Kyiv regime's forces just all along the front line. And the globalists and their puppet regimes in Europe, France, UK, Germany, and elsewhere are desperate to give some break to their proxies in Ukraine, right? And that's why they are pushing for this ultimatum of 30-day ceasefire. So it's not just Zelensky, but also Macron, Stammer, Merz, and the rest of these criminals. But it will not work. Obviously, we knew this would have happened straight away. That's how globalists would react on that. And anyways, Russian representative of Russian Foreign Ministry, Maria Zakharova, went to clarify, anyways, statement of Russian president. Although they did not need no clarification, but what Zakharova says is that Bankova misread the transcript of the Putin statement. So Bankova representatives, and Bankova is a street in Kyiv, by the way, where these governmental offices are located, including presidential office. So Bankova representatives were not well accounted with the transcript of the Russian president Vladimir Putin's statement, judging by their reaction to the proposal to resume direct talks on Thursday in Istanbul. This was stated to us by their official representative of the Russian Foreign Ministry, Maria Zakharova. And she also said that the Russian leader expressed himself very clearly and distinctively, very clearly and directly. First, negotiations on the root causes, and then we can talk about ceasefire also. So first, root causes have to be addressed. Let's talk about this. And then, if we find the common ground, we can actually discuss ceasefire also. That's what Russia is proposing, right? And globalists are crazy about it. They don't want no talks, by the way. They want break for their proxies in the Kyiv regime, and they are not getting it, right? But I said that this move was a really brilliant move on part of Russian president, because this offer creates this unique opportunity, off-ramp for US administration to pull out their country. And according to some reports, this is exactly the way how US leadership sees this offer, because RT, for example, is reporting that Trump reacts to Putin's proposal for Ukraine peace talks and responds positively. So US President Donald Trump has expressed support for his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin's proposal to resume direct peace talks with Ukraine, which have been on hold since 2022. Putin earlier suggested restarting negotiations in Istanbul, Turkey, next week. So if my understanding is correct, and the US leadership sees this opportunity as an off-ramp to pull out US from this proxy war, then I guess in upcoming days we will see some strong statements from Washington, some strong critical statements from Washington towards Kyiv regime and its European backers, because US leadership needs to pave the ground for potential, to walk away eventually, isn't it, from this whole mess. Let's see if White House will act on this development. And if Washington will use this unique opportunity that Russia is offering, and US needs it, by the way, US needs this off-ramp, US needs to de-escalate with Russia because, as I said many times before, dear friends, US leadership have to have guarantees that Russia will not seek revenge for all the harm that US done to Russia, Russian citizens, as a result of its involvement in this proxy war. US leadership needs to have a guarantee that Russia will, at least on a state level, seek no revenge. And the only way to achieve that is to pull out US from this proxy war now and then to agree on a concession. And Russia might actually offer opportunity to US leadership to do it by saving the face. Right? I can see such possibilities. So, ball is on US's side now. They've been given a unique opportunity and they should take it. They should take it and they should liberate themselves as much as possible from the globalist grip that is still strong in US, by the way, and the current administration there is under attack constantly, isn't it? From within and from the Europe. We all see this on literally daily basis, right? Let's see how US will react on it, but there is also a possibility that US administration will miss this opportunity, and there is indicators of that because, for example, RT also reporting that US greenlights long-range missile transfers to Ukraine. I mean, why, for God's sake? Why you are doing this? Trump. What the hell? Let's go through this news, dear friends. The US has approved the transfer of 100 Patriot air defense missiles and 125 long-range artillery rockets from German stockpiles to Ukraine, New York Times reported on Friday. So, I mean, as I said here, friends, maybe US will take this unique offer from Russia, unique opportunity that can be used as an off-ramp to pull out US from this proxy war. Or maybe not, but possibility is there, clearly. Possibility is there, and as I said, by the way, US desperately needs at least some level of guarantees that Russia on the state level will seek no revenge. Although some groups inside the Russia will seek revenge always, by the way. This is inevitable. Harm that US done to Russia is cannot be forgiven or forgotten. But states are operating on different levels, right? And that should be kept in mind also. And I'm saying so that US needs at least some guarantees from Russia because US is about to get engaged in military hostilities with Iran because Trump himself posted, I believe, on his True Social that was that military action is back on the table, military action against Iran, and he is saying this right before negotiations gonna kick off in Oman. I mean, 4th round today, by the way. And for example, Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has left for Muscat to attend the 4th round of the indirect Iranian-American talks on the nuclear program that scheduled for today, May 11th. And I don't know what his calculus is in Trump's mind, what he's thinking of, but to threaten Iran with their military action right before negotiations are beginning, I mean, is it a good strategy? I don't know. I don't think so, but I think US not being honest in these negotiations with Iran, I think they are just using these negotiations then to say that, you know what, they try. They are coming up with their unrealizable demands from Iran, and they will use these talks then to say, you know what, we tried diplomatic ways, it did not work, and now we have to take some military action, and that's not gonna go down well for US, by the way, I can tell you that. You know, and if US will get engaged militarily with Iran, by the way, they will have to send troops on the ground. And Iran might become 10 times worse for US militaries, then collective West, including the US, turn Ukraine to, for Russia. Iran may become 10 times worse for US than they managed to make Ukraine to Russia. And that's why I'm saying they need some level of guarantee from Russia that at least Moscow will not seek revenge on state policies level, but Iran will get whatever support they need from Russia anyways, I think, if and when it comes to war between Iran and the US, between Iran and Israel, between Iran and whomever. So this is also something to think about, dear friends. This evening during the live stream, we can elaborate on all these topics. I would love to see your takes, what you think is going on. But I think this move from Russian president is really a good move. This move creates this off-ramp for US administration, and I wonder if they will take it, if they will see it that way, and if they will take this opportunity. Because if they will, then that will give them not just ways to pull off US out of this proxy war, but also to gain more freedoms from globalists. And this is a big deal. Anyways, obviously globalists, their puppet regimes in Europe, UK, France, Germany, others, and their proxy regime in Kyiv most likely gonna ignore this Russian offer. So therefore, we should expect a big escalation in short time. We should expect big escalation, because I think Russian leadership is close to a point when they will say, "No, what? We just had enough," and some major steps will be taken to end this conflict as fast as possible, and obviously on Russian terms. Anyways, dear friends, I will end this update now, and as I said, this evening I will share additional news that Russian media will report about on major developments, and we can have exchange of opinions about any topic. Literally, it's going to be community chat on YouTube, dear friends. On Sundays, I have a live stream community chat on YouTube, sir. On Fridays on Rumble, but unfortunately last Friday I was unable to do a live stream on Rumble. But anyways, I'm gonna end this video now. Hopefully you will find it interesting, informative, useful. And if so, please click that like button and leave some commentary in case you didn't yet. And dear friends, if you are not subscribed, please do so. Please subscribe. That might also help to reach a wider audience. Share video with your friends. Share information about existence of my channel. And dear friends, if you like my work, if you like my channels and want to support, you can do it through several means. You can donate to this channel through PayPal or Boosty platforms. You can subscribe to my Patreon channel, become a Patreon, which is basically monthly supporter for the project. Or you can subscribe to my channel on Boosty too, and you can support through crypto if you want to. All the links, all the addresses are on this video in the description box and in the pinned comment. This is it for now. Have a wonderful day and take care. Hopefully many of you will manage to join the live stream today on YouTube. Bye for now.